What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lineman Life Live podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. Hope everybody's having a good day. Monday, getting the week started. Obviously, it's been a wild Monday in the NFL. Had some big news drop live on TV. We will be talking about that, obviously, the Julio Jones situation, but also something I want to follow up on from the last stream. Kwame Brown, we all know it. We all seen him. He's been roasting the Breakfast Club. He's been roasting Matt Barnes. He's been roasting all of these different talking heads that have been using him as a punchline. And one in particular, Charlemagne the God, who decided he wanted to speak about Kwame Brown's family and totally disrespect this guy in how he tried to somehow, in his words, quote unquote, defend Kwame Brown. He just ended up basically, hitting him with multiple low blows. It was total garbage. Obviously, it was universally panned by everyone who heard what he talked about. But he has actually come out today and given himself Donkey of the Day on the Breakfast Club, and gave a lengthy apology to Kwame Brown. Now, personally, I don't know that I am I haven't listened to the entire thing. I've only listened to like a minute of it, but I think it's pretty obvious why this apology has come out so quickly, and it's almost a little bit hypocritical in a sense. But we'll watch it. I'll react to it and give you guys my perspective. Just the entire notion of his apology and the timing of it, and all the circumstances about things that we learned about him since this whole drama has started up. It's a little odd. It's a little odd, to say the least. So first, let's take a look at his apology. I'll stop it when I think that there is something I need to make a point about, but let's go through it. It's 6 minutes, and then from there, I'll give you guys my thoughts because, again, timing is awful, precarious. Let's take a look.
I want to apologize to Kwame Brown and Kwame Brown's family. I want to apologize to his father, Bill Brown, and the family of his father. See, last week on this radio, in my attempt to defend a Charleston, South Carolina-born brother like myself.
First thing he does. This is kind of putting off. I mean, look. He wasn't trying to defend Kwame Brown in the same sense that someone like Jalen Rose did. He wasn't trying to defend Kwame Brown. He was trying to, in a roundabout way, make a certain innuendo about Kwame Brown and the mental stability of the people of his bloodline. And that, to me, is where everything is completely wrong from that point moving forward. Everything you say from that point is garbage, because you crossed the line and you made the inference. Like, we could, that's what I got from it. That's what Kwame Brown got from it, right? So, to me, it's just, he already started his apology by giving himself an excuse, which leads me to believe that he's not truly sincere about his apology. There's a reason why he's apologizing. And for those who don't know, he actually had his lawyers send Kwame Brown a cease and desist notice when he aired out Charlemagne's dirty laundry. A lot of people are learning things about Charlemagne that we did not necessarily know. I had no idea about this whole situation with him back in, I think, 2001? But, again, Kwame Brown, he was the wrong one, because he stepped right up to the plate and hit a grand slam on his ass immediately. So, let's keep going.
I revealed too much information about that man's family. And even though all that stuff is public record, some things just don't need to be said on the radio, and they definitely don't need to be said by me. When I look back, on the way I...
Is he reading a script? Does it look like he's reading like that what is that, a MacBook? Looks like he's reading a MacBook to me. Looks like he's reading. So that's another thing. Like, if you're going to give an apology, if you're going to apologize when you were clearly in the wrong with how you dealt with somebody and how you talked about somebody and put their name out there to the public masses, try not to read it off a screen. At least don't look like you are. You literally are reading off a screen. I mean, come on, bro.
I communicated that. I communicated it all wrong. And I unintentionally triggered trauma in a lot of folks I grew up with who I genuinely love. I'm sure I caused a lot of pain for not only Kwame Brown, but for his family, especially his family in my hometown of Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
And it keeps going back to this whole South Carolina thing. We're both from South Carolina. It's really just kind of weird. It's weird. I mean, it's him he's trying to seem genuine, but it feels manufactured to me. Just to me. That's the only person I can speak for here. It feels manufactured. I don't know that, one, you're looking off a screen, you're reading from a text instead of actually speaking from the heart, speaking from your mind, actually processing what you did and speaking to that and apologizing for it. He's literally reading a script. And, I mean, they got him on camera. It's in 4K, literally in 4K.
You know how I know? Because I spoke to a few of them. I've been on the phone this weekend with mothers of children and their children. Salute to Shaliba and her daughter, Brianda. I was on the phone with sisters like Wallet. Salute to Wallet. Oh, she cursed me out good.
It's like he's trying to he's trying to garner sympathy. That's what he's doing here. He's trying to garner sympathy. He's talking about all the women that he talked to who chastised them for the comments he made. But really, what does that have to do with what you actually said? It ain't got nothing to do with what you actually said. It has nothing to do with what you actually said. What you talked about was Kwame Brown's father. You talked about Kwame Brown's brothers. There was no speak of women in there. So why are those the go-tos for you to try and gain sympathy from the audience when really maybe you should have talked to Kwame Brown yourself? That's what I think. That's what I would have done. If it was that kind of serious thing right there, I would have talked to Kwame Brown. I would have hit him up and be like, let's talk about it, and apologize to him on the phone. Like, apologize to him. You came on a radio show to apologize. You came on a radio show to apologize. I mean, to me, it's manufactured. It's manufactured media, literally right here in front of us. That's what it is. Just keep going.
And, I was apologizing for triggering them, causing them pain, because I was casually discussing their family's trauma, man. And that's something that I have to stop doing. That's something that we all have to stop doing. I was talking to my Sacred Purpose coach, Yadi Alba, this weekend. She's like,
all he's doing is just throwing out more sympathy flags, trying to gain sympathy over and over and over. I talked to this person, my spiritual guidance, this and that. I mean, those are things you can talk about when there's casual conversation, but you're supposed to be speaking about Kwame Brown. He's actually making this about him. He's making it more about him than actually this doesn't need to be a 6-minute video. If he's going to do a real apology, he can do that in 2 minutes, just looking into the camera and speaking. He literally is making this about him instead of about Kwame Brown. And he's going through all these steps that he's taken, all these processes that he's taken, all these people that he's talking to. But really, who cares about all that? Give the apology straight up. This is sucker stuff right here. This is what suckers do. He's making it about him. Everything is about, I did this, I should have done. I spoke to these people and that. And, I mean, come on, man, just get it over with. I mean, if your heart ain't in it, just get it over with. But I mean, you're literally reading off a laptop and just going down a list of people that you've interacted with, name dropping all of them, as if we care about that. We want to hear your apology to Kwame Brown. That's what we want to hear.
Like a spiritual therapist, I have her and my clinical therapist, and that's what we were talking about, how we casually discuss each other's traumas. I didn't even think about when I spoke on, Kwame.
Look, I'm a psych major, so a lot of this stuff, I'm literally like sitting here and he's just passing the buck on to different aspects of his life with different people. He's passing the buck. He's trying to make it casual that he did this. Talking about how, we always talk about each other's lives and blah, 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 blah. Come on, man. Come on. Leonard Larry McKelvey. LLK, Leonard Larry, 2 first names.
And his family, how many people were impacted by those things I was speaking on. I mean, that's generational. Okay, I caused pain and unintentionally poked at people's wounds. Okay, wounds that will probably never heal. And I can't take back those words, but I can't apologize. I think oftentimes we.
Again, that's another term right there that he's using that deflects the direct blame, the direct embarrassment off of him, and he tries to spread it to society. He's spreading it to all of us. I think sometimes motherfucker, sometimes you did that. Shoot, I know better than to bring somebody's family into a conversation, especially if I don't know the cat. Like, why? Why would I do that? That's like asking for trouble. He's literally just passing all this off like somebody coached him. Like somebody coached him to do it.
Meaning black people, we fight each other with our demons, whether true or false, whatever is the worst thing we know about a person or think we know about a person, we default to that, and that was not my intention. I was not in any way, shape, or form trying to paint Kwame in a negative light.
Lies. Expose him. This guy just literally sat here and lied. What did he say in the actual first segment when he talked about Kwame Brown? He said, y'all need to leave Kwame Brown alone. His family has a history of brother snapping. And he been living his life, been doing his thing all by himself for 20 years. And then y'all want to come over here. Y'all want to talk about him being a bust in the NBA. Y'all know that obviously that gets under his skin and that bothers him. Y'all need to leave him alone before that man snap. That's exactly what that's what he said. That's what he said. So, he literally he just told us a lie. He just made up something right there. That's not what happened. You actually did paint him in a negative light. You actually painted him in a negative light the entire time you talked about it. So how is it not your intention? It was your intention. We could see it. It's clear as day. This dude is a clown.
Okay, that black man is not my op. He wasn't my op when I said it. In my mind, I'm defending that man, but I should have been defending him as Leonard Charlemagne the God McKelvey, the professional, and not Leonard Larry.
Here he goes again. You weren't defending him, dude. You literally said y'all need to leave him alone because he's crazy and he gonna snap and come get one of y'all. That's what you basically said. That's not defending him. That's literally, that's patronizing him as a person. That's you assuming that he's a certain kind of way and that he's going to fall into the same pitfalls that other people in his family has fallen into. And we all know, obviously, that's not true. It doesn't matter what you think about Kwame Brown's career. The dude did not, he did not fall into the pitfalls of his family. He did not commit the sin. He is not responsible for the sins of his father, and he did not follow in his father's footsteps. He made a path for himself. He was successful. Number 1 overall pick, regardless of what you think about him as a player, him as a draft pick, how that whole scenario played out doesn't matter. That was a successful person who lived the dream, played 12 years in the NBA, by the way, and is now living his life in normal civilian style and just enjoying his life, doing what he wants to do. And you bring his family up. It's one thing when you got the talking heads talking about him as a player. It's easy enough for him to go at them, but what you did was like, that's personal, my friend. That's personal business right there. Personal business. Let's keep going.
Whatever you want to call
Hopefully
me,
this is almost
South
done.
Carolina, talking like I'm home in the town on why I believe they need to leave Kwame Brown alone. That was whack, because the conversation didn't even have to go there. The conversation should have been about basketball. Yes, leave Kwame Brown alone because he achieved a goal and a dream that 1.3% of NCAA seniors will achieve, and 0.03% of high school seniors. You know how small a number that is?
And now he's rambling on into something that has nothing to do. He's talking about the statistics behind basketball. Look, that's an obvious thing. You don't need to talk about that. We all know that it's hard to get into the NBA. It's hard to get into professional sports. This is not something that we don't understand. This is to eat time up. What he's doing is killing time, because this is now deviated from the entire purpose of him even speaking. He's now going into talking about basketball. This is supposed to be an apology. Man, this dude this is tone deaf. This is lacking self-awareness. Like, this is the entire snowball. He is totally lacking self-awareness right now. He doesn't realize that what he's doing now is rambling. And he is in no way throughout this entire diatribe of his has he actually taken a moment and just spoken to Kwame Brown directly. He's speaking through a prompter, basically from his computer screen. It's him reading. That's how he disassociates his emotions about how embarrassed he may be and how ridiculous he looks to the rest of the world, the media-laden world. And it's the only way he's going to make it through this. Like, through this moment. I mean, like, for him to finish this entire thing, it's going to take him having to disassociate his actual emotions. He can't care about this. That's why he's reading off of something. If he cared about it, he wouldn't be reading off of something. He'd just be speaking, and he wouldn't be rambling into all of these different topics that really don't mean nothing compared to, in respect to what he should be talking about. Like, come on, man, get it together.
And, that's just simply being drafted in the NBA. If you play 13 seasons and make 65 money, you're a success. So salute to that man. The only expectations we have to live up to is our own. That's why I always say success is subjective, okay? My views of success may be different than yours. As long as you're happy.
Again, this is not even an apology. This is now him. He's moving into, like, motivational speaking almost. Like, he's off. Like, he's literally so far off kilter with staying on topic right now. He's completely off topic. This is not an apology. This is just literally a low frequency rant, a low volume rant. He's just kind of just going through this. He's going through the motions.
Happy, that's all that matters. But we didn't even get into that conversation because my mind automatically went to something that it didn't even have to go to. In doing that, I unintentionally caused trauma. And since I unintentionally caused trauma, again, he's literally lying to you. If you go and watch, if anybody hasn't, I'm sure everybody's seen it. But if you haven't seen the video, just go watch it. You tell me if that seemed intentional or not, the way he talked about Kwame Brown's family. That was totally intentional. I have to be intentional about causing healing. I'm not about to sit around and have beef with another black man for nothing. Trust me, as y'all know, I have a lot of real enemies who are gunning for me every day. Kwame Brown is not going to be one of them, okay?
This guy, listen to him. Oh, my goodness, listen to this guy. This dude is literally sitting here he's trying to make himself a victim right there. Right there, he's trying to make himself a victim. I got so many people gunning for me, man. I don't need Kwame Brown being my enemy. I don't need him busting my head on the internet no more. I'm sorry. he hasn't even said, he's, I don't even know how many times, maybe somebody has been paying attention in the chat. I don't know how many times he's actually said, I'm sorry. He hasn't said I'm sorry, or he said I apologize, I think like maybe 3 times. But we're like almost 4 minutes into this, and he has talked about himself. He has talked about the people he has been in contact with. He has talked about the habits of people in their, I guess, the gossiping habits of people. He has talked about making it into the NBA and how that's being successful. And he's talking about how he needs to turn his attention to healing. 5 different topics, all of which revolve around him and his perspective, none of which actually speak to the mistake he made and the disrespect that he caused by talking about Kwame Brown the way he did. This dude that is like, I guess you could call that narcissistic. Yeah, that fits. This is a completely narcissistic diatribe masquerading as an apology.
Totally understand why Kwame Brown was upset at me. I went low. That wasn't my intention, but in hindsight, it was low, and Kwame took it to the floor with me. And
now there you go again. He's spreading the blame, trying to deflect it off himself. Kwame took it to the floor with me. What do you mean? You went low and talked shit about his family, and everyone, I'm sure everyone here, when you go and talk about somebody's family, now it's war. Like, it's war. We're gonna go at it now. We're gonna go at it now because that is literally crossing the red line. Everybody knows that. Everybody. Let's keep going here. We're almost
y'all
through
be
it.
online so excited, ready to see black people go back and forth and tear each other down. I'm not doing that. I'm not going back and forth if I feel like I wronged somebody.
All right, listen to this again. What he says here is literally a contradiction of what he's already done.
Kwame took it to the floor with me, and y'all be online so excited, ready to see black people go back and forth and tear each other down. I'm not doing that. I'm not going back and forth if I feel like I wronged somebody.
Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me if you agree. I don't think the internet, I don't think people in the media space have been necessarily, I guess, riled up to see 2 black men argue with each other and beef with each other. The vast majority, I would say almost unanimous majority of people in the media sphere have literally been talking about what a piece of shit you are for what you said. And not only that, you've now been exposed for doing some shit in the past that is now like really bringing up questions as to whether or not you should be given the platform you got. And I'll be the last person to say, to just go out and talk about and talk about somebody getting canceled. But if there was ever a case that needed to be reviewed, I would say Charlemagne the Gods definitely should be taken under review, because from basically what we can assume, even though technically through the courts it's not that, Charlemagne the God has had relations with, was it a 15-year-old when he was 21? Come now, my friend. Come with me. Come with me. This cat, hey, Breakfast Club, y'all better watch out. Y'all better watch out. Let's get through. Let's finish this thing up.
I'm going to apologize. That's what I think a good man does. A good man apologizes for the mistakes, that he made.
He's making himself seem like a good man. He's the good man now because he's apologizing. What the fuck is good? This dude is delusional. He's delusional.
Corrects him. Hopefully, I get the opportunity to do that one day. But for now, I just apologize. And I'm not beefing with a black man who's born where I was born and has family where I'm from. There's nothing on this planet that I love more than God, my family, and Moncks Corner, South Carolina, the whole low country, the 843. Drop on the clues bombs for the 843, okay?
This dude has literally literally got on a microphone and basically pity promised his apology. Everything was about him in this. He's already started a beef with another black brother. That's what he did. Kwame didn't do that. That's what he did. He's done it. So what is this double talk he's saying? He's literally is double talking into a microphone, and it doesn't make sense because we all seen what he said. You started a beef. You talked about things you shouldn't have talked about. You did it because you thought it was going to be something that people was going to be like, oh, ha, 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 yeah. No. Why are you talking about that man's family? And then he came out and he roasted you. And not only that, he put out information out there that's now being looked at in a new light because you took it to that personal level. So he went and got some personal information that he knew was an ace card for you, was a trump card for you. You wouldn't be able to say nothing about that. You sent a cease and desist letter to this man. He literally, to give my full summarization, this is him tucking tail and running because he don't want no more smoke, period. Because more smoke means more problems to Charlemagne the God. So that's what I have to say about that. What you guys talking about in the chat? Let's see. Arrested twice as a teenager for possession with intent to distribute. Let's see. Developed stage name of Charlemagne taken from his drug dealer's pseudonym, Charles. Oh my gosh. It's funny. I was watching a history information or a history video on YouTube the other day, and it was actually talking about the real Charlemagne. So I thought that was kind of funny. Let's see. Kwame has done more for this Brunswick, Georgia community I'm typing from than most have ever done. 100. Yeah, much respect. Much respect to Kwame Brown. I actually reached out to him. I shot him a little PayPal because that was the only link that I saw on his YouTube channel. And I reached out to him to try and see if I could get him to come on and talk. So if anybody out there knows him and thinks he might be interested, shoot him a link. Let him know. Should he have apologized then? If all he thinks insecure, should he apologize if the apology isn't up to our standards? Well, look, this is what you got to understand about this situation. What he did was not apologizing. That was not apologizing. That was not apologizing. So literally, he went from starting with saying, I'm going to apologize, to then everything, he started saying, I want to apologize. And then from that point on, he talked about himself. He talked about himself. And then he talked about not wanting to beef with another black brother, but he's already done that. And then he talked about these weren't my intentions, but it was his intentions. We saw what he said, and the way he said it and the way he put it, all of it was he intended to say all of it. He intended it to come out the way we received it. So to me, all of this is literal just fluff. Everything he talked about in this apology, quote unquote, is fluff. None of it actually speaks to Kwame Brown. And look, if Kwame Brown sees it differently and accepts the apology, then that's cool. It's all he can do whatever he wants. The ball's always been in his court since he uttered all that stuff about Kwame's family. So, my perspective is just that if you really listening to what he's saying, he is literally deflecting and pivoting away from actually speaking just simply and genuinely that he fucked up. He crossed the line. He shouldn't have said it. I feel like, I disrespected you. Now, in hindsight, looking at it, I disrespected you. I'm sorry about that. And he should be saying that to Kwame Brown himself. He shouldn't be saying it on Breakfast Club. That's really the problem. He should not be. This apology should have came in way of actually a phone call or some kind of connection to Kwame Brown directly, because that's what adults do. he's coming out on a platform that's paying him money that is going to garner him more attention with this apology. This is his grand stage. This is his grand stage on Breakfast Club. Like, where is everything about what he's doing in this video is monetized for him? And he's reading off a script. So it's like, no, man, that's not how you apologize to somebody. Like, look, and hey, say what you want. This is how I feel. These are two men. If you're going to talk, and even with women, if you're going to talk shit to my face. If you're going to apologize, come to me and apologize if you know you was wrong. And we can squash it right there. But he goes on his show when all of this drama has been boiling over the weekend. And now on Monday, he issues this lengthy diatribe that really is the most self-centered apology that I've heard somebody speak on publicly in a long time. It was totally about him, this entire video. It was all about what he did, who he talked to, and what he didn't intend to do, which is clearly lies, because we know what his intentions were. So, that's him. That's all on him. A sincere apology is putting yourself out there like that. I'm sorry. Hope you can forgive me, or I was wrong, and that's it. Okay, so a sincere apology first and foremost, a sincere apology in my eyes does not need to be a public apology. You need to go talk to the man himself. You think he's not going to answer? You think he's not going to, be willing to connect? He's already in no short term said, motherfucker, step up. So like putting yourself, this is his comfort zone. That's what you got to understand. This is his comfort zone. This is where he is most comfortable in his daily life. So this is like him reading the news. That's to me, that's what I read. That's how I see this. This is the easiest apology he's ever had to give. He talked fast. He talked about himself. He talked about he made various he spoke various falsehoods about the actual reality of the situation. He's comfortable in here. He can do this all day. That's why it's bullshit to me. Get uncomfortable. Go get in front of Kwame Brown. Be uncomfortable where you don't have nobody writing a script for you, where you don't have people, where you don't get to read that script 5, 6, 7 times in front of producers and then just come on and do it like it's a regular segment of your show. No, you got to step to a man to his face and tell him you were wrong and you apologize. That's a much different apology than this. That's a much different apology. Okay, Charlemagne is trash. Dude shouldn't have apologized, though. Let's be real. No one would ever be satisfied with what Buddy said. He poisoned his own well. I think that's true. But, again, knowing that your apology to the public, to the court of public opinion, is never going to be wholly embraced, then you never do that. You don't do the public apology to the general public. You go to Kwame Brown. People would have way more respect for you. You would gain an inkling of respect back, because the whole shit in 2001, bruh, your respect is on hold right now until we find out what's really going on. Because word is the victim of that wants the case reopened. So your entire credibility is like on pause until official word comes back on how things are gonna unfold in the future. But we're gonna side eye you every time we see you. The fuck? I'm out. We're gonna side eye you because it's out there now. It's out there. So all this, I mean, he didn't do himself no favors by doing this, in my opinion. He should have went to Kwame Brown like face to face, or talk to him on the phone, or talk to him on, talk, if you wanted to do it in your comfort zone, which I still am against that, then even if you got him on the show or just on the phone to apologize to him, you were supposed to be apologizing to him. You're not supposed to be giving us an essay about, all of the self-reflection that you say you've done, and all of the people who are gunning for you, and all the people or all the things that you didn't intend to do, and all the beef that you didn't want to have. That's all bullshit, because you did it already. Like, you can't say that you didn't intend to do it when we watched you do it. And the intent was obvious. We knew what the intent was. So, it's a rough one for that cat. I don't think this does anything for him. I don't think it does anything for him. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Make sure y'all are hitting that like button. I see we got 22 likes. We got 47 watching. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Lineman Life Live. We talking about Charlemagne the Gaul and Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown he has scorched earth on these motherfuckers who've been talking bad about him. And look, before all this, I knew Kwame Brown was like a player who was a first overall pick and and people called him a bust, but I didn't know all the circumstances around his career. And when I dived into it and read up and did a little research, I mean, I see that happen. I see what happened to him happen to NFL players multiple times in my career. Multiple times, where the coaches and the people who are around them just ain't the right people, and they actually stunt somebody's ability to actually grow as a player, like severely stunt them. And as soon as I read those things, I understood. I said, shit, this dude got fucked. His career got fucked. He was a pawn in a game that was so far above his head because he was so young. And he thought he was joining. He thought he thought his destiny was something greater because he was being aligned with his hero, with the guy that we all look at and say that guy is, that's MJ. That's what he thought, and it wasn't that at all. And it ruined the potential he had, that he could have had as a player. But he still made the best of it. He played 12 years in the NBA. Nothing to scoff at all. And he's living his life. And now, shit, he got a fan base now. And that's power. That's power. When I looked at his YouTube channel, like at the very start of this, he was at like, I think 35 or maybe 35, maybe 53. I might be having the numbers switched up in my head. He was like 35 or 53,000 subscribers. And that was like 10 hours into the drama. By like Sunday night, dude is like, I don't even know what he's at. I think he was at like maybe 100, maybe 150. Let me look him up. Where is his channel? Here we go. 192,000 subscribers. 192,000 subscribers in like 3 days. That's like he got like 140,000 in 3 days. Look, ain't nothing. Kwame didn't go to the ground with you, Charlemagne. Kwame destroyed you for stepping across that red line. He eviscerated you for stepping across that line and talking about his family. The only way that you can give have a true reckoning and a true apology to him is to speak to him face to face. And that's it in my eyes, because he's got people behind him, plenty of people behind him, because they understand what he's saying. And they know, everybody who's listening to what this guy say, it's true. It makes sense. It's logical. You can put the pieces together one by one. He broke it down in his way. And then he even adjusted, and he stopped cursing, and he just talked about it. And he destroyed this cat. He destroyed all these cats they're talking about. He destroyed them. Because at the end of the day, can't none of them talk about his life and how his wife was running around with his coach and all this other shit like he literally put right in front of all these cats. Oh, y'all want to talk about me? Y'all want to talk about my life? Okay, let's talk about your life. And all he did was talk about it. And he destroyed him that quick. So all this masquerading that Charlemagne is doing, that's all PR teams getting together. How much money did he spend to get that to have that apology prepared for that Monday show? How much money did he spend with people that advised him and people that actually probably sat there with him and wrote and dictated with him how to place this apology out? How many? How much did he spend? He had to have spent at least $20,000. Crisis management. That's what that's called. Crisis management. It's manufactured. And this dude is just speaking from the heart. Down south country boy, speaking from the heart. Take it how you want to. Basically, take it how you want to. And he's got these people looking stupid, all of them. All of them. And he literally laid out a completely logical, respectable, entire perspective on it. And I don't think there's a person that disagrees with him. So, the apology stuff, that's whatever. That's really whatever because, at the end of the day, I damn near want to look at one of these videos. I really damn near want to look at these videos. But I mean, he's done some, look at this. Oh my goodness. I ain't even look at these views. 246,000, 466,000, 375,000, every single one of them. They turned him into the people's champ when they talked about him the way they did. They turned him into the people's champ. It's literally him against that world. Him against that world. He turned him into the people's champ. And hell, hey, it's hard to invalidate somebody and make yourself look like the ethically correct person when you talk so badly about somebody and then they literally stand up and just tell you the truth about you, period. What can you say? They're telling the truth. He came out with the truth as he knows it, which objectively is the truth. What he said about Charlemagne is not incorrect. What he said about Stephen A, not incorrect. What he said about who else? Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson. Like, he literally schooled Steven Jackson on just how you presented yourself when you were around people in a neutral setting. Sit up, open your eyes, put the blunt out, present yourself like a respectable male, adult. That's what he did. Who can argue with that? There's a time and a place for everything. If you want to be taken seriously, then you got to seem like you're serious. You have to project that you are serious. And he put all that stuff out there right for the world to see, and people listen to it because, hey, they decided they wanted to wake a sleeping giant, and he woke up, and now he's knocking all these card houses that they've built. He's knocking them all down. These people look like clowns right now. Shit. I stopped really watching a lot of the sports, the sports opinion talk. I check out Shannon and Bayless every now and again because I like to hear what Shannon Sharp has to say about football related things because he played, and he actually, a lot of times, not all, but a lot of times, Shannon, when he talks about football, he is on point when he's speaking from the locker room standpoint, inside the locker room, on the other side of it. He'd be on point. He says some good stuff. But generally, I don't watch those shows. Generally, I don't watch none of those opinions, none of that opinion shit, because they all just be literally. They're assigned a position. Like one side is going to say that they're for this, and then inevitably the other side is against it. They never truly agree all the time about headlines within the sports world. It's scripted. Look, I've been on multiple reality shows, and the one thing I learned is being in those atmospheres where you're dealing with producers and people who are managing sets, managing like the flow and how things are supposed to go. It's all scripted. Literally, all of it is scripted. From beginning to end, it's scripted. So, they find ways to inject that kind of perspective into opinion television, which, that's why I don't watch none of that shit. Because I mean, if you've been there and you've done it, then then there's something that you can look at things like that and see that there's really like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And, sometimes the athletes join in with it. And I'm like, man, you motherfucker, that's not how it was when we played. That's not how it was. What are you talking about? Like, you literally are talking like a talking head, like a sportscaster. Like, you played. How do you not know? It's crazy. So, Kwame Brown, he's definitely this month's MVP. He's the internet's most valuable player for the month of May. I think that's safe to say. I think we can all agree on that. He is the MVP of May. We'll see if I don't imagine that. I imagine that his clout within the media realm, as it pertains to like the people, he's got a lot of clout right now. So I would expect he's probably gonna do well. Even better than he was before in this new spotlight that he has, this new megaphone that he has, because he stood up for himself. He ain't let people play him like, he ain't let people just sit there and keep stepping on him. Like, it's one thing if people talk about you and make jokes, people can get by that and be like, whatever, fuck off. But when you go after somebody's family and then, you actually like dismiss him as a basketball player, which was Matt Barnes' mistake, dismissing him totally as a basketball player. I bet he wish he didn't do none of that shit now. He done turned this boy into pretty hair Becky. What do you call him? Long hair Becky? Something like that? Boy, he's a whole caricature now. Matt Barnes is a whole caricature. Steven Jackson is a whole caricature. These guys are clowns now. These are people who talk like they it's one thing to like speak as if you are truly intelligent and truly have perspective. It's another thing when the facade of that is exposed, when the veil is pulled back and you actually have to display whatever your principles are. They're now put to the test. That is when you find out truly what motherfuckers are made of. Or is are they gonna be consistent? I mean, it'd have been one thing if they would have just, hey, it would have been some bullshit still, but I could actually, in a very narrow way, I could actually see if they just kept making fun of them after it. From the basketball standpoint, that would have been at least like, well, they consistent. That must be what they really think about them. Well, hey, you can't change how everybody think about you, so, you move on. Fuck them. But he got these cats over here like, man, you want a box? You want to do Trillo box? Like, motherfucker, stop. First off, if you want to go there with it, you don't know what you're going to get. Just because you think you can fight don't mean you won't get caught with something that's going to knock your ass out. Ask our boy, what was his name? Oh, whoa. Kwame just made a 1-minute video about the apology. He was on his tractor. Said he had plenty more to say. Let's see. If he done uploaded, let's see it. Let me see here. I don't see anything up. I don't see a minute-long one nowhere. If anybody has that, or anybody knows where I can... Yeah, Nate Robinson. Yeah, thank you, Tyrone. If anybody got or knows what video that is, it might be on the Instagram or something. But anyway, I think that at this point, Kwame Kwame's in the position of strength, and really he got there just by being real about it. He was just being real about it. So he wins on that one. He's winning continuously right now. And hopefully, he'll reach back out and we can talk about it. But let's move on. We'll come back to that. If I can get that video and get a look at that video soon, then we'll talk about that. We'll get back to it. But here, let's talk about this. This was like the news of the day as far as football goes. Julio Jones. I did a video on it earlier. If you haven't seen it, check in my playlists on TOL Daily Briefing. Julio Jones, Shannon Sharp called Julio Jones on Undisputed. Obviously, we know what happened. Asked him if he was, what his situation was. Julio Jones said, nah, man, I'm out of there. He's done in Atlanta. I know that is going to hurt a lot of people in Atlanta because a lot of people love that cat. I know Julio. I met him three times. We traded info. We talked. I got to kind of get a feel for the kind of guy he was. Very reserved dude. Very, methodical, cool, collected. A good dude. He's done a lot in the city. He's done a lot of business in buying up real estate in Atlanta to rebuild for disadvantaged communities. They've been buying. They call it buy the block out here in Atlanta. That's what they've been doing, which is really, really good. And he's been a player who's been a consummate professional. There's not been any true controversy around him outside of injuries. But we got here the odds for the first team for him to play one snap for in the 2021-2022 season. And these are the two teams that I actually thought had the best shot at getting him. The LA Chargers at plus 500, the Patriots at plus 500. I also thought Baltimore had a chance. They're at plus 600. I think the Chargers getting this cat would be the biggest move. I think that would be that move has the most upside to it. And again, I think it depends also on whether or not, how Julio views the prospects for the Chargers, this year. Because, he's 34. And he's still elite in my eyes. He's still an elite receiver. He dealt with injuries last year. You get a year like that when you've had the kind of career he's had. You don't write him off. Shit. But the Chargers, if the Chargers can land Julio Jones, that changes the game for them because their quarterback is going to be a superstar. He already is a star. This cat, Justin Herbert, is going to be, he's my favorite young player in the NFL. He's my favorite young player in the NFL. The dude is explosive as a quarterback. And when I say that, I mean his ability to make to make throws for the offense, to put balls in tight spots. He does it with literal, it looks literally effortless. It looks effortless. The dude had a hell of a rookie year, and they've got a hell of a receiver in Keenan Allen. They've got other receivers as well. I don't know their names, so, I'm sorry, but they definitely have a young team that has a lot of potential and with Julio Jones, their offense is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. I think they could be, I think they will likely, I think they could likely be a playoff team with Julio Jones at wide receiver. Julio Jones and Keenan Allen is going to be a nightmare for defenses. They're not even going to play. It's going to be hard for them to even play the run because they're going to need their entire secondary, all hands on deck. We got two monsters out here, and we need to keep them covered. And that ain't even going to happen. We see what they do to the double teams they already get. So I think the Chargers have the most to gain from, I think it propels them much further than the Patriots. Because the Patriots, I mean, they did a lot of money. They did a lot of spending. But they had a lot of problems. And the Patriots also, with a lot of spending comes a lot of pressure for that money to have a return on investment immediately for where they're at right now, and for what Bill Belichick is trying to prove, because he is trying to prove something. Don't get it twisted. He heard people talking about it. It was Tom. It was Tom. Belichick got something to prove. Belichick got something to prove, and he is. They putting their money where their mouth is, and those. I mean, they're gonna have to get like a 90% success rate on those players they signed. They spent $150 million in the first day of free agency. So, I think they have a much higher hill to climb than the Chargers. Actually, they have a much higher hill to climb, and adding Julio will be nice, but there would need to be more than just Julio actually playing at an elite level of ball to kind of lift them back up to that level of confidence as a franchise that they had when they were, in their winning ways. So, really, I think it's, obviously people want to pay. I'm sure Patriot fans want Julio Jones. I'm sure they think that's going to be huge for them, but I don't think it's going to be that huge for the Patriots to have Julio Jones. I don't think it's going to be as huge as it would have been if there was still a Tom Brady at quarterback. Now, I think, what's his name? The cat from Mac Jones from Alabama. I think that cat it's a very interesting pick and a very interesting prospect. If Bill Belichick is truly the wizard, we should be seeing some things from this kid sooner rather than later. I'm interested to see how he's going to be developed. I think that if he's developed, if what their tried and true methods as having the Patriot way, then if they are as strong as as we thought they were historically, then we should see a progression in this quarterback in a rather consistent fashion, and we'll at least know if where his ceiling could be in short order, within 2 seasons. But the Chargers, they know what they have. And that guy changes the kind of team that they are if they get Julio Jones. He changes the kind of franchise that the Chargers are, because they are actually right now, they're an up-and-coming young team. But having Julio Jones on that squad could make them playoff contenders, if not playoff, a division champion. So, that's how I look at that situation. Baltimore, it's weird. I think the Baltimore situation is the most complicated one, mainly because I think that the Ravens as an offense, I think that they right now they have a little bit of an identity crisis, because I don't know if this RPO that they've run the last couple years that has been, it's been figured out. I don't know that style of offense lends itself to big play receivers. I don't think that it does, because there is just too much that happens at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback doesn't necessarily get to look the whole field to analyze and identify coverages, because he has to read players in the box first, players at the line of scrimmage. All of that that RPO run heavy stuff that they've been doing, it's really it only fits for a certain style of like offensive production. Like you're not that kind of offense isn't a big play offense. It's a dink and dunk, run balanced offense that features as a main runner its quarterback. So that really makes it hard for them to be able to do two things: be an explosive offense with a big time playmaker, and still stay true to everything that makes their quarterback who he is, at least in respect to his explosiveness. Because his explosiveness, I think we all can agree, comes more from the run game, from him running than him passing. Can he pass the ball? Yes. But do they actually have a passing philosophy that threatens defenses consistently? No, they don't. So adding Julio to that doesn't really give them the entire. It doesn't allow them to necessarily stretch the field, because I mean, how many 4 wide receiver formations are they going to run? They don't have many. They're going to be in Y slots. They're going to be in 2x2s with tight ends on both sides, because they want to run the RPO and they want to be able to try and pull the linebackers in, but they only have two receivers running routes. So that becomes a much more difficult scenario, scenario to be successful in for the offense, because you don't really you're not really threatening the defense. And if you get too, and if they fall in love with one or the other a little bit too much, then they become one-dimensional. Once they're one-dimensional, defenses can clamp down. And, that's a much harder proposition for Julio Jones to say, do I have a better chance at continuing to be able to play the way I've played in Baltimore or New England than I do with the Chargers, which literally the Chargers' offensive philosophy is the kind of offensive philosophy that allows him to be peak Julio Jones. Peak Julio Jones. That's what it gives him. That's their style. And they have a quarterback who does it. And he's I would say he will be a better quarterback than Matt Ryan easily before he gets to, if you're comparing them in parallels, he will progress faster and further than Matt Ryan at the same age through his career. And he's a better athlete. He's got swagger. The kid has fire in him. I mean, Matt Ryan does too, but I'm saying, he has a special kind of like energy when he's out there playing that, his receivers love it. His receivers love it because he's just dropping bombs to them. That's what that Julio will be allowed to be, that kind of player. He'll be allowed to be that kind of player. And that's what he was in Atlanta. So, there really isn't much room for that when you look at New England, because just reasons. In Baltimore, because their actual offensive philosophy is not compatible with the kind of receiver that he is. So I would imagine that if they can garner up a nice little package, the Chargers need to go ahead and they need to be making that offer tonight. Like, look, we give you a first rounder for next year. We'll give you like two of our, we'll give you two of the cats we just drafted. We'll give you one of the cats we drafted this year, 2 of them. We don't care who you want. Except for the high rounders, who you want. If I'm the Chargers, we getting that deal done now. We don't give a damn. We'll pay his whole contract. We don't care. Shoot, we need that. Shit. But, then you have the rest of the teams. I mean, obviously, these teams will be trying to make their pitches, but, he ain't going to Indy. He ain't going to Vegas. He ain't going to Tennessee. He damn sure ain't going to Jacksonville. San Fran? No. Cleveland? No. Too many people there. Dallas? Hell no. He already made that well known. Packers? I don't even think the Packers can afford his ass. I don't even think they can afford him. So that's just going to be it for them. But yeah, so I think it's Julio will be completely in control. Well, I'm sorry. No, he won't, because it will have to be a trade. But I think that the Falcons will give Julio that control in deciding which team to accept the trade deal from, if they find, if they're able to come to conditions that the Falcons can live with. I think that they owe him that. I don't know this to be true, but I'm, just in knowing and seeing his career in Atlanta and just the kind of person that I saw him to be, I don't think he has animosity for the Falcons. I just think he knows that his time is done there. I think they know that they knew that they needed to, they didn't know how to break it to him, and they didn't want to bring it to him. And now, they say Julio actually requested a trade months ago, to which they accepted. I think that was actually the most cordial way to handle it, because the team is giving him the respect, and they're not even arguing about it, and they're respecting the fact that this dude has done so much for this franchise, and really he got them to the top of the mountain. They just couldn't pull the sword out of the stone. But I think that they showed a little respect and not even really making news about that and saying that he requested a trade. I don't remember ever seeing that in the public sphere. They didn't even talk about that. That's respect from a team. They didn't talk about it. Nobody leaked it. And when they're probably, as they're getting closer to making a deal with somebody, we hear last week that the Falcons want to trade Julio Jones. Of course, that's going to set the football world ablaze, but they did it about as respectfully as you could. They've already had their conversations with Julio. So this is everybody, they're catching everybody else up on what they've been doing, which is the right way to do it. I think too often you see players who find out about the destiny of where their career is going, in ways that really show a lack of respect for for what it takes for what they've sacrificed to be the player that they are on that team. Like, guys put in a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of aches, a lot of pains, a lot of mental like battles to try and build that resolve to push through certain things, push through the stresses of it, be poised on the field. It's not, everybody knows it's not easy. It's football, right? So players at least want, and I'm talking about players who don't play, and you got your divas, but players who have done a lot for teams, they don't want they don't want to sound arrogant when things like this happen, when they come out and they seem like they're mad and they're bitter. It's just that they wanted a little bit more respect, especially seeing as how they've been there for so long. So when you look at Aaron Rodgers and his situation as a player, I look at that and I'm kind of like, I kind of feel him. Like, y'all went and drafted a quarterback on him, didn't talk to him, didn't even give him a heads up in that position, especially where his career was. He's still playing at a high level, but he's still trying to get over that last hump to get back into a Super Bowl. Like, yeah, I would feel disrespected. Y'all went and drafted the quarterback first round, and didn't even say nothing to me. Knowing that I've been asking y'all, just give me a receiver. Give me one more receiver. One more. So we can push further. The quarterback, you're going to draft a quarterback. Okay, but what? He ain't playing for a few years unless y'all just really want to go to war with me. And I just think I think that players only want to be given the same amount of respect that they gave the franchise in service to the franchise. That's really what I think it boils down to in that regard when we're talking about, handling players, even when it's the business side of the game. Like, yes, we know it's a business, but handling it in a way that really, truly is both professional and respectful. Because, come on, man, this game is played. Yes, players get paid a lot of money, but they're playing the game because they love playing the game. Nobody's out there playing just for the money. If they say that, they're lying. There's no way to play just for the money. because you got to go through a lot of pain for the money. You got to want to be doing it in the first place, or you won't last. You won't last anyway. If you're doing it just for the money, you won't get to year 3. You won't get to year 3 because it takes more than that to actually thrive in football. You have to actually love playing the game. So with that, everybody, that is going to be it for this Lineman Life Live. Really do appreciate you guys. Y'all been awesome today. It's been a news heavy day. So we had some good things to talk about. Again, if you're just joining, you've never been on this channel, I am Uche Nwaneri, the Observant Lineman. You can join the O-Line by hitting the join button down below. We've got different tiers of membership that you can be a part of to support the channel. And also, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button and help this stream get propped up on that YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you guys so much for sitting here listening to me yap on and yap on. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. So everybody have a good night. Talk to y'all later.